tougher, however. They're going to make it harder for people to get behind the wheel without better English language skills. This from Mark Hannon.
She trusted that taxi driver to bring her home, and he didn't do it.
Brent Symes isn't impressed with the standard of some people driving taxis.
She had a road map with her. The taxi driver couldn't understand where Albany was, couldn't understand English, couldn't read the map, ended up dropping her in the middle of Browns Bay at 11:45 at night.
Brent's talking about a 17-year-old Italian student who's been living with his family. She was supposed to be taken home by a taxi driver, but he got lost.
I've heard that passengers have driven the taxi to get home.
We believe it's a safety issue. If they can't speak English, there are communication problems, there's a potential for a communication breakdown, and in a closed environment of a cab, that can lead to confrontation.
Victoria Street, Holmes Street.
New drivers doing the Area Knowledge Certificate, the test that's supposed to find out if they know the area they want to work in.
There are taxi drivers out there who don't speak English.
How do they get the job?
I don't know, but I hear that they've bought an area knowledge certificate.
For $100 on the black market.
There were area knowledge course providers who would sell these courses, who would, the very fact that you were able to turn up there got you the test, and yes, so there were some pretty shonky practices out there.
Especially when providers were testing their own drivers. No independent checks.
Drivers could memorize the answers ahead of time and simply repeat those answers at the time of the test. And it also wasn't a particularly good format for testing a driver's command of the English language.
So that's how drivers with dodgy English have managed to get licenses to drive taxis. They've had the questions and the answers. They've just learnt the whole thing off by heart. No surprises and no real test of their English language abilities. And Friday night in Auckland is when many of the poorer drivers come out.
Their cousin or their family have taken out that taxi at night to drive, and they're not qualified. They don't even have a P endorsement. They don't have a New Zealand driver's licence.
Drivers willing to break the rules to get a fare.
The council will come around, the police will come around, the LTSA will come around. They ticket them all, $150 tickets. They drive off, they drive around the block, and they come back on the back of the rank. And they will do, half an hour after the police have gone, it's back to what it was before. They're so desperate to make money that they will do whatever they have to do in order to make the money.
Ripping off the genuine taxi drivers, the honest ones.
Person come here in 15 days, he's driving a taxi, he's got license, he's got whatever you need, they have it. How they get it?
As people are coming on, they buy the cheapest cars they can. They have drivers who really can't speak English, don't know where they're going, and all they want are bums on seats.
Holmes tested 4 Auckland cab companies, a $10 trip from the Auckland casino to a street in Grey Lynn. 3 of the drivers had to get their maps out. They all charged $10. But Holmes was concerned about the 4th driver. He didn't have a map, no ID on display. He even had to stop at a service station to ask directions. He charged $13. The Taxi Federation says that isn't good enough. The government agrees. Standards for new entrants to the industry are being tightened up. There are new rules.
They won't know which particular questions they're going to be asked, and they won't be given the answers ahead of time. And all of that means that the drivers will have to learn the routes on their own, and ideally the way they'll learn those routes is by getting in a car, driving around the streets of the area that they're taking the test for and becoming familiar with the roads.
An English language minimum will also have to be met.
Sorry about that.
But that still leaves many substandard drivers and cabs on the roads.
Can you believe some of the drivers they let out here on the road?
In Auckland alone, you've got something like 3,800 taxi drivers who will not be sitting the test, who will not be checked to see if they meet the standard.
Yes, well, anyway, the LTSA and the Taxi Federation say the main complaint they get from the public is taxi drivers who speak little or no English. And I suppose that is a genuine worry. Maybe we could be just a little bit kinder and more patient and more considerate of people new to our country.